Now we will move on to element 3.2, improving health and safety culture. In this section, we will delve into the critical role of management commitment and leadership in fostering a robust health and safety culture within any organization. The top management plays a pivotal role in setting the tone for health and safety. They can powerfully demonstrate their commitment in several ways. Firstly, by setting an example. When management actively adheres to safety standards and prioritizes safety over other concerns, it sends a clear message to all employees. Secondly, through involvement and consultation with staff members in health and safety matters. This includes their participation in risk assessments, ensuring that risks are thoroughly identified and evaluated. Workplace inspections, actively looking for and addressing potential hazards. Accident investigations, participating in understanding the root causes of incidents to prevent recurrence. Committee meetings, being present and engaged in discussions about safety policies and procedures. Furthermore, management demonstrates commitment by sending newsletters, minutes of meetings, and notices with references to safety. Consistent communication reinforces the importance of health and safety. Finally, by actively taking part in safety tours, audits, and meetings. This visible engagement shows employees that health and safety is a genuine priority, not just a matter of compliance. When management undermines safety standards, ignores unsafe acts, or prioritizes productivity over safety, they risk losing employee respect and trust, which can threaten the entire safety culture of the organization. Therefore, positive behavior from management is crucial for cultivating a positive health and safety culture. This slide focuses on the crucial aspect of competent workers. Competence is defined as the combination of training, skills, experience, and knowledge that a person has and their ability to perform the task safely. This can be easily remembered using the acronym CATE, which stands for knowledge, ability, training, experience. Employers are responsible for ensuring that their staff are competent enough to carry out the tasks safely. When workers are competent, it is observed by other staff members and positively influences the safety culture of the organization. To screen for competence, employers can check qualifications, previous employment experience, references, conduct interviews, and look for membership in professional bodies such as IOSH or IIRSM. It's not just about qualifications or years of experience. Competence is a blend of all these elements. The level of competence required should be proportionate to the job and the work environment. Managers and supervisors must also possess suitable competence in their field to demonstrate correct health and safety behavior. This enables them to identify mistakes made by their workers and ensure that correct health and safety practices are learned by their team members. Let's have a look on the methods of communication essential for effective health and safety management within an organization. Communication is broadly defined as imparting, conveying, or exchanging information, ideas, or opinions. The three primary methods of communication are written communication. This method involves conveying information through written reports, memos, emails, notice boards, text messages, newsletters, standard operating procedures, and warning letters. Written communication provides a permanent record that can be referred back to, and it's a quick and convenient way to disseminate policies and instructions to a wide audience cost-effectively. However, it may omit vital information, lacks immediate response or questions from the receiver, and might assume certain knowledge from the reader. Oral, verbal, communication. This is often the easiest, quickest, and most efficient way to communicate ideas, orders, and instructions directly. Face-to-face discussions are natural, universal, flexible, and allow for instant feedback, as well as additional information from facial expressions, body language, and voice modulation. The conversation should be logical and aim for complete understanding. On the downside, verbal communication leaves no written record, can be time-consuming due to travel or meeting arrangements, and may face language barriers or technical jargon issues. Visual communication. This method uses pictures and signs to effectively convey messages to the receiver. Examples include no entry or no smoking signs. Visual aids are powerful because they can be easily understood and can cut across language barriers. Ensuring that the required health and safety information is communicated correctly and understood by all workers is paramount, and utilizing a variety of these methods helps achieve that goal. Verbal communication, a detailed look at its merits and demerits. Verbal communication, often the most immediate and natural form of interaction, holds a significant place in the realm of health and safety, allowing for direct exchange of information and immediate feedback. However, its reliance on spoken word also introduces several limitations. Merits of verbal communication. Comprehensiveness. Verbal communication allows for detailed explanations and clarifications, making the message more thorough and understandable. Intricate procedures or safety protocols can be broken down and discussed in real time, ensuring a deeper level of comprehension among all parties. Immediacy and directness. Information is conveyed without delay, enabling swift responses and decisions. In emergency situations or when immediate action is required, verbal instructions are invaluable. Direct communication eliminates the potential misinterpretations that can arise from written messages. Exchange of opinions and views. Verbal interactions facilitate a two-way dialogue, encouraging open discussion, brainstorming, and the sharing of diverse perspectives. This collaborative environment can lead to more robust safety solutions and a stronger sense of ownership among employees. Instant feedback. The ability to receive immediate responses allows the communicator to gauge understanding, address questions, and clarify ambiguities on the spot. This iterative process ensures that the message has been received as intended and allows for real-time adjustments to the communication strategy. Additional information from non-verbal cues. Beyond just words, verbal communication is enriched by non-verbal cues such as facial expressions, body language, and voice modulation. These cues can convey emphasis, urgency, or even underlying concerns that might not be apparent in written form, adding another layer of meaning to the message. Demerits of verbal communication. Lack of written records. One of the most significant drawbacks is the absence of a permanent record. This can lead to disputes or misunderstandings if there's no tangible proof of what was discussed or agreed upon. In health and safety, where accountability is paramount, this can be a serious issue. Time-consuming. While seemingly quick, verbal communication, especially in the context of meetings or face-to-face discussions, can become time-consuming due to travel, scheduling, and the duration of the interaction. This can be inefficient for disseminating information to a large number of people simultaneously. Language barriers. In diverse workplaces, language differences can pose a substantial challenge. Even with interpreters, nuances and specific terminology can be lost in translation, potentially leading to miscommunication regarding critical safety instructions. Potential for technical jargon misinterpretation and ambiguity. Technical or specialized terms, common in health and safety contexts, can easily be misunderstood if not clearly defined or if the audience lacks the necessary background knowledge. The inherent flexibility of spoken language can also lead to ambiguity, where a single statement might be open to multiple interpretations. Sensory defects of the receiver. Individuals with hearing impairments may struggle to fully comprehend verbal instructions, especially in noisy environments. This highlights the need for alternative communication methods or assistive technologies to ensure inclusivity in safety briefings. Pace of information delivery. The speed at which information is delivered verbally can impact comprehension. If the pace is too fast, listeners may miss crucial details. If too slow, it can lead to disengagement. Difficulty in remembering all information. Unlike written documents that can be revisited, verbal information is fleeting. It can be challenging for individuals to recall all the details of a verbal discussion, especially if the information is complex or extensive. This risk is particularly high for safety procedures that require precise adherence. In conclusion, while verbal communication offers distinct advantages in terms of immediacy and interaction, its limitations underscore the importance of complementing it with other communication methods, such as written and visual aids, to ensure comprehensive and reliable dissemination of health and safety information. In this section, we will discuss written communication by examining its merits and demerits. Understanding these will help you choose the most effective way to share information in the workplace. Let's begin with the merits, or advantages, of using written communication. First, it provides a written and personal record of the communication. This means it can be filed and stored, serving as proof that the communication took place. It can be referred back to at any time. This is useful for clarifying details or reminding yourself of instructions long after the message was sent. It offers quick and convenient methods to communicate information like policies or instructions to others. Finally, written communication can cover a wide audience cost-effectively. Think of an email or a memo. One message can reach many people at once with little effort. Now, let's turn our attention to the demerits, or disadvantages. A significant drawback is that vital information may be omitted from the communication. The writer might accidentally leave out key details. Unlike a face-to-face conversation, there is no immediate response from the receiver, and no questions can be asked in real time to clarify points. The sender cannot see the receiver's reaction, missing out on non-verbal cues that would indicate if the message is understood or well received. The communication process itself takes time and may delay decisions, as you have to wait for the receiver to read the message and respond. This can make discussion difficult and protracted. Sometimes, the message itself can be problematic. The communication might take certain knowledge on the part of the receiver for granted, or the language used may mean something different to the reader, leading to misunderstanding. Finally, written communication can be too formal, and the message may be difficult to understand if not written clearly. We'll be exploring graphic communication. We see it everywhere, from road signs to instruction manuals. We will look at both the merits and demerits of using graphics to communicate. Let's start with the merits, or the advantages. First, graphics are eye-catching and can encourage people to look at the information being presented. A strong visual can grab attention much faster than a block of text. They provide a powerful visual stimulus, which can make the information more memorable and engaging. A key advantage is that graphics can make messages easy to interpret. Think of a simple, "No smoking" sign. The message is understood instantly. Importantly, for many graphics, no language skills are needed. This makes them an excellent tool for communicating with a diverse or international audience, as they can overcome language barriers. This also makes it easy to cover a wide audience. Finally, graphics are great for demonstrating procedures easily. For example, assembly instructions for furniture often use diagrams to show each step, which is much easier to follow than written text alone. Now, let's consider the demerits, or disadvantages, of graphic communication. A complex message cannot be conveyed effectively with graphics alone. Abstract ideas or detailed arguments are difficult to represent visually. It can be very expensive to print high-quality graphics or to develop graphic videos. Graphics can be difficult to interpret without words or an explanation. A symbol might be clear to one person but confusing to another without context. Similarly, signs or symbols may be unfamiliar to the audience, leading to misinterpretation. Graphic communication is typically a one-way channel. This means there is no feedback from the viewer, and no questions can be asked for immediate clarification. Lastly, this method is not suitable for everyone, as it relies on sight. It is ineffective for individuals with sensory defects, such as impaired vision. In summary, graphic communication is a powerful tool when used in the right context, but it's essential to be aware of its limitations to ensure your message is understood clearly by everyone. In this section, we will discuss various methods for broadcasting information, which is the process of sharing a message with a wide audience. Choosing the right method is key to effective communication in any workplace. Let's look at some common broadcasting methods. First, we have notice boards. These are a traditional but effective way to post important information in a central location where employees will see it. They are ideal for official announcements, safety alerts, and meeting minutes. Next are posters. Posters use strong visuals and concise text to get a message across quickly. They are excellent for reinforcing key safety behaviors, like reminding staff about personal protective equipment or highlighting specific hazards. Film or video is a highly engaging way to broadcast information. Videos can be used for safety training, demonstrating complex procedures correctly, or sharing messages from leadership. They can convey tone and urgency more effectively than static text. Toolbox talks are short, informal safety meetings conducted directly with a team, often at the job site. They are perfect for discussing hazards relevant to the day's tasks and encouraging immediate two-way communication about safety concerns. Digital media encompasses modern tools like email, social media platforms, and mobile apps. These methods allow for instant communication and can reach employees wherever they are, making them useful for urgent updates and company-wide news. Finally, the intranet is a private, internal company website. It serves as a digital library where employees can access a wide range of information, such as health and safety policies, procedures, forms, and company news, all in one organized place. Cooperation and consultation are key to managing health and safety. There are several ways to achieve this. Direct consultation. This method involves discussing health and safety issues directly with workers to resolve them. It is an approach often achieved in small organizations. Representative consultation. For more formal structures, a safety representative can be appointed or a safety committee can be established. These committees include top management officials who act as representatives to discuss health and safety matters. An organization might have a dedicated health and safety committee with several representatives from different groups. Legal obligations. The Health and Safety Regulations of 1996, consultation with employees, places a legal duty on employers. They must permit representatives the necessary time off with pay during working hours to perform their functions and undergo training. This time off is to be agreed upon by both the employer and the employee. To foster improved morale, a sense of ownership, and a positive safety culture, workers should be involved in the decision-making process. The method of communication plays a significant role in the workplace culture. Informing is a one-way process that creates a negative culture. Consultation is a two-way process that helps build a positive culture. International standards underscore the importance of this two-way communication. ILO Convention C-155, Article 20 and R-164, Article 12 insist on safety standards that involve consultation with workers. Consequently, it is an employer's duty to consult with their workers on matters of health and safety during key processes such as decision-making, developing procedures, conducting risk assessments, following any technical changes, changes in work procedures. Training is the systematic development of the attitude, knowledge, and skill patterns that an individual needs to perform a given task or job adequately. In health and safety management, training is a key tool. It is used to motivate staff to work safely and to change the behavior of people involved in workplace activities. When workers understand the risks of their jobs better, they are more likely to be motivated to avoid them. Training should be seen as an ongoing, continuous process. Jobs are constantly changing due to new problems, procedures, materials, and knowledge, which creates a constant need for employee instruction. The main instances where training is required include induction training for all new employees when they join the organization. When there are changes in the business, such as the introduction of new working methods, new technology, or new equipment. When new legislation comes into force. When problems are identified, such as an increase in accidents. The success of any training program depends on correctly identifying training needs and then providing and evaluating the training aimed at satisfying those needs. All training should be constantly reviewed to ensure it remains up-to-date, relevant, and adequate for its purpose. When you provide training to your employees. In any workplace, training needs arise at several key moments to ensure the workforce remains safe, competent, and efficient. These opportunities can be divided into planned events and responses to identified problems. Training is often prompted by planned changes within the organization. These include new employees joining the company who require induction and job-specific training. When new work methods are introduced, technological changes that alter how tasks are performed, the introduction of new equipment that workers must learn to operate safely. When new legislation comes into force, requiring updates to procedures and knowledge. Additionally, the need for training can be identified by specific problems that arise in the workplace. These situations indicate a gap in skills or knowledge and include an increase in accidents, a failure to properly maintain equipment, a labor shortage, which may require retraining existing staff to fill different roles. Induction training is critical for the safety of any new employee from their very first day. A newcomer is vulnerable to workplace hazards immediately. For example, they could be run down by a forklift truck on the first day, or a fire could break out soon after their arrival. To prevent such incidents, it is essential to train newcomers on several key topics right away: accident prevention and fire prevention, the immediate dangers specific to their working environment, procedures to be followed in the event of a fire, the joint responsibilities that both employees and management share for safety, overall safe working practices for their role. To ensure new employees are fully prepared and safe from the start, their induction training should include several core subjects. These are health and safety policy of the organization. This provides an overview of the company's official commitment and approach to managing health and safety. Hazard profile of the organization. This introduces the new employee to the main types of hazards they might encounter at the company. Risk assessments in the workplace. This explains how the company identifies and evaluates workplace risks. Risks to which employees are exposed. This covers the specific dangers and risks that are directly relevant to the new employee's role and work area. Relevant risk control measures. This details the specific precautions and safety measures that are in place to protect workers from harm. Emergency procedures. This training covers the exact steps to take in case of an emergency, such as a fire or medical incident. In addition to understanding policies and risks, induction training must cover the practical, day-to-day rules and procedures of the workplace. These topics include specific site rules, which cover how to move safely around the workplace, the location and meaning of any restricted areas where access is not allowed, information on the available welfare facilities, an explanation of the first aid provision on site, including the location of equipment and personnel, the correct accident reporting procedures that must be followed if an incident occurs, an overview of the safe system of work and permit systems, which are formal procedures for controlling hazardous jobs. Special attention should be given to the safety training needs of young people. In places like the UK, this is recognized by legislation. This legislation requires that the vulnerability of young persons is taken into account in the risk assessment process. This consideration must then be reflected in the resulting safe systems of work and any associated training. A training need analysis is a systematic process for identifying what training is required within an organization. When planning this analysis, there are several key factors to consider. The business functions of an organization, including its specific hazards or risks level. The nature of hazards and risks involved in the business activities. The accident history of the organization, which can indicate areas where there is a lack of knowledge and a need for training. The details of employees who have received training before, including when the training occurred and what topics were covered. Whether there is any legal requirement to carry out specific training, for example, first aid training. Once these factors have been analyzed, the next step is to plan how these needs will be met, by what means, and when. This plan must also prioritize the training, which may mean that statutory or legally required training must come first. Finally, it is essential to recognize that training will require a budget. Training records are essential for documenting and managing an organization's training activities. These records must be maintained and kept up to date. Their purpose is to witness the progress against the established training plan. Training records should provide detailed information on the topics that were covered, the level of competence gained by the learner, and the date the training was conducted. These records are crucial for compliance and legal purposes. They can be provided to a regulating authority to show that suitable training was given to improve worker competence. They may also be used during an accident investigation to prove that training was provided to the worker involved. Evaluating training effectiveness is the process of reviewing the training to assess whether the training objectives have been met. A trainer needs to determine if the trainees have achieved the stated objectives, and this is often done by obtaining and reviewing feedback after the training. Another key method is to monitor employees after they return to work to check for any significant change in their behavior and practice towards health and safety. When monitoring, you should look for specific success indicators, which may include whether employees are performing their tasks safely without risk to their health. Do they work as they have been trained to carry out the task? A significant improvement in the organization's health and safety performance. An increased awareness in the accident and near-miss reporting systems. Trainee assessment is a vital part of evaluating the overall effectiveness of a training program. It allows a trainer to judge the success of the course and so recognize any modifications or adjustments which are needed. Measure the progress of individual trainees in relation to themselves or their peers. This process also provides feedback on how effective the training is. It allows the trainer to make changes in teaching methods and in the methods of assessment in light of their experience.